Such has been the rapid pace of change in the luxury watch industry of late. It has uncovered many weaknesses, opportunities and threats for all stakeholders involved, and let's face it, exposed a lot of things fundamentally wrong with the industry. On the one hand, public watch robberies are at an all-time high, fueling a booming black market of stolen pieces. Dodgy grey dealers are running off with clients' consignment watches. The recent volatility of grey market prices have left some with small fortunes gained and others losing life savings, and trading volumes of brands like Rolex have exploded. All of this chaos has therefore given birth to opportunists. New ideas like the digital watch vault, Subdial trades, open Chrono and eBay's authenticity guarantee all promise to help strengthen the industry, facilitate transparency and minimize risk. But you know me by now, I'm not afraid to give my qualified opinion to help enthusiasts navigate through the bullshit. Which of these new schemes have potential? Are they revolutionary, a little bit dodgy, or just plain scammy? Welcome back, I'm Vinny. Do subscribe down below if you haven't done as yet. So let's kick this off then with talking about the digital watch vault. Now, many of you will probably have heard of this already. There's a lot of videos out there on YouTube which describe this process, but I think it needs properly critiquing. On their website, they claim that this is a unique platform designed to manage and secure the ownership of provenance of luxury watches from the day of purchase all the way through to a safe and secure transfer of ownership. On the other hand, you can also report a stolen watch. It acts as a lost and stolen database, so you notify Digital Watch Vault that that particular watch you've uploaded has now been stolen, and then what will happen is a notification will be sent out to all of the other people on that network or the dealers, and advising them that look out for this serial number, look out for this watch, and let us know if you do come across it. Now, they say that what we can do is when we buy a new watch into our own inventory, that we can add the details to the system, the serial numbers, upload photos, and therefore it'll be stuck on their blockchain forever, and it adds to the provenance and history of the watch, and that's all great for adding value. But let me tell you the reason why most secondary market dealers won't be interested in signing up to this. And the big problem is, let's say for example I buy into our own inventory a 1970s Rolex Datejust that could come on its original Jubilee bracelet. 5 to 10 years down the line, let's say Digital Watch Vault becomes more of a success and is still in business. That watch then gets flagged by, let's say, 3 or 4 owners down the line as being counterfeit. When I sold that piece, I know it wasn't counterfeit. I know that it was 100% legitimate, and we did all of the necessary checks to it that we should do within our own due diligence. A vintage piece like that, especially a Datejust, it is commonplace that the Jubilee bracelet could get lost and get replaced with a leather band. It's common that the dial could be changed out for a fake Tiffany blue dial. It's common that the bezel could be changed for a aftermarket diamond bezel, and therefore 5 years ago when we sold that watch, it was perfect, it was original, it was genuine, and now it's pretty much a fake. Is that going to come back to me as the first person, the first dealer to register that watch on their system? Am I the criminal for selling that watch? Am I wrong for selling that as genuine? So I would be concerned, and I know a lot of other secondary market dealers will be very concerned with potentially the responsibility for a watch that we once sold further on down the line bouncing back to us as being problematic for some reason, which has got absolutely nothing to do with us. Another big flaw of it is this idea that if we sign up to this system that we will be part of the notifications chain system. So basically what will happen is if a watch gets stolen and a criminal therefore then goes on to try and shift that piece, usually it happens within 48 hours, to another dealer in the industry. If that dealer is on the system, they can check the system when that criminal is sitting in front of them offering that watch to them, run that serial number, see if it's been stolen, and then actually report back to digital watch vault who will send a notification to the original owner, who can then alert the authorities and arrest that person. That's the idea in a perfect world of how this will work. I am not going to alert digital watch vault as they want me to that I have this person in front of me with that stolen watch, because all that's going to happen is that potentially, yes, they'll be arrested, but then I will struggle to sleep at night knowing that I am responsible for being the good Samaritan, but I'm responsible for locking up a criminal. We're just trying to run a business, okay? I would just politely decline the invitation of buying that watch and say, yes, it's not for us. A lot of these criminals, and I hate to admit it, but the secondary market and the luxury watch industry is absolutely inherently riddled with criminality. That's the way that the industry is. Where there's big money, there is crime involved with it, because obviously it's a big opportunity for money laundering and other things like that to happen. All I gain from that is potentially that criminal getting arrested, alerting his chain of criminals that, yes, well, I offered it to him, so it's got to be him that grassed me up. It's got to be him that checked on the digital watch vault and found out that this piece was stolen. Go and kill him. So this idea that it's going to solve watch crime by sort of closing that loop of following the money where those watches will get sold on, I think is fatally flawed. From the perspective of collectors and enthusiasts uploading their own watches on the system, and crucially upload their own serial numbers to that database, surrendering a serial number for enthusiasts and collectors is almost like surrendering your wife to another man. You know, it is that sacred to collectors. The serial numbers are confidential. I know that from this channel that most of you guys watching are between the ages of 40 and 60. That's just the fact. I'm talking to those guys. Traditionally, those guys are conservative in nature. Not politically necessarily, but conservative in nature, and private people. They will not want to share their serial numbers with some system that's new, that's some system that isn't proven yet, and whether it's blockchain or not, that's irrelevant. What's more relevant is if I pay £10 for a watch register certificate. Watch register have been going for many years now, I think over a decade. So their database is always going to be more complete with records of stolen watches on there than the digital watch vault. So what is actually good about the digital watch vault, in my opinion? I think the best feature that they offer is their global watch crime hotspot map. So for example, if I was traveling to London next week, I could have a look at that location and see what crimes have been recorded locally, whether it is a hotspot for watch crime, whether I'm safe to wear my Rolex Submariner, or whether it's better off wearing a £250 plastic Moonswatch. Let's move on to chat about Chrono. Now, this is another company which promises to revolutionize the industry, as they all seem to, in the sense that it really ties into the idea of watches as investments, as assets, and as tradable commodities. Now, I really get the impression watching some of their marketing videos that this was an idea of its time. It was an idea born out of the hype bubble of 2020 and 2021 in the luxury watch industry, where of course values soared and they became commodities, tradable commodities. Now this system basically delivers a trading marketplace for enthusiasts and collectors. The idea is that you actually buy a watch from somebody, the watch gets sent to Chrono, the watch and all of its provenance and paperwork gets stored in Chrono's own vault for you to never actually take physical possession of it, for you to never actually wear the watch. You entrust this new company with your brand new Cosmograph Daytona that you will never see, never wear, to hold it in their vault for as ever long as you want, maybe a year or two, and then decide once it's appreciated that you'll then sell it and you'll just basically net the money. It's a similar sort of system to investing in fine wines and whiskies. There are specialists in those industries that have websites. They buy and source the whiskey in for you. They store it in their own facility. It is pretty much guaranteed that certain vintages will go up in value by a very small percentage. They're seen as an alternative asset. They're seen as quite steady. Now, applying that same model to luxury watches, as I say, at the time when this idea was probably envisioned back in 2021, 2020, it seemed almost impossible to imagine a world where we could see Rolex values falling by 5% every 3 to 6 months. From every angle I look at this idea, it is doomed to fail and is almost, sadly, in the current context, laughable. Next up, let's chat about Subdial Trades. Now, Subdial is basically a secondary market dealer based here in the United Kingdom, and they have quite a unique approach to the secondary watch market. They have a very transparent database on their website with a lot of market data and analytics for enthusiasts and collectors to look at, which advise on market movements of all of the major watch models, and therefore is quite a transparent secondary market dealer in the prices that they offer. But also they've created this new side of their website where you can upload the details of your timepiece. Other watch collectors and enthusiasts can do so as well, really in the pursuit of trading pieces in a peer-to-peer network. It's great because the system is quite fun to use and easy to navigate, and actually really does facilitate collectors and enthusiasts to easily trade into something else and experience something else without the difficulty that comes with two separate transactions, i.e. selling my watch first and taking the funds and going and buying another. If we're selling a watch, let's say for example that Cosmograph Daytona I paid £15,000 for, the trade value of that at the moment is 13. If I sell that for 13,000, I'm going to feel the pain of losing £2,000 and only seeing 13k in my bank account. But if I am able to easily engage in their swap shop system and get 2 other watches back shipped out to me, I ship that watch to them, I'm not going to feel any pain. So it's actually an easier and more pleasurable process for enthusiasts and collectors to go on their journey of collecting. Because as we know, look, we all get bored of watches in our collections after a certain amount of time, and we want to change it up and move into something else. And I think at the moment it's a great thing for dealers to be offering that kind of a platform. Now finally, I want to talk about eBay, and specifically eBay's authenticity guarantee. Now, as a dealer in the industry for nearly 7 years now, I started out on eBay. Buying and selling vintage Omega, fixing them up, adding value to them, refurbishing them and selling them back on the platform. The platform itself, authenticity guarantee, look, it is very good if you're a buyer. On eBay, the buyer is always right. You can basically buy a watch from eBay that's covered by the eBay authenticity guarantee. They do all the necessary checks and then they'll confirm it's authentic and ship it out to you from their own facility with a tag on it. I cannot tell you how many times as a seller I've had watches bounce back that have been authenticated and approved as meeting the description and being absolutely perfect. Only as recently as this Christmas, we sold a watch on eBay. The actual buyer kept the piece for a month. So over Christmas, over New Year, they partied with it, they enjoyed themselves with it, and then they claimed that the watch was broken. eBay still processed the return, the watch still came back to me with the tag removed, and I could see it clearly had been worn. I could see it had clearly been dropped. I took it to my own watchmaker and they advised, yes, this watch has the chronograph has damaged and broken because of impact. So they've gone to their New Year's parties, enjoyed the watch, smashed it up, and then sent it back to me. And what have eBay said? Yeah, the buyer is always right, so we'll send it back to the seller and it's their problem. From the buyer's perspective, if you're buying through eBay and their authenticity guarantee, you are the client of eBay. So eBay are going to look after you. It's great. But as a seller, I'll put it this way. If you are selling any watch that's over £2,000, be prepared to be waiting for your money for up to 6 months. And also be prepared to have that watch bounce back to you many months later after it's been worn and used and damaged. What do I mean by up to 6 months? Well, we've had 3 instances over the last year selling on eBay where it's been a high ticket item on all of those cases, a Rolex over £10,000. eBay's system and their own algorithms have, for whatever reason, flagged that as suspicious, despite the fact that we've been selling on eBay for 6 years, and then requested of us that we provide documents as to where we bought that watch from, as to the fact that we're not money laundering, as to the fact that we're actually a business. And once we provide all of those documents, they say, yeah, that's great, you can send the watch out. We send the watch out, it's authenticated by eBay themselves, they send it off to the end user, and once it's authenticated, those funds should therefore be released to you. Most recently, we sold a £17,000 Rolex Yachtmaster. And then once it passed through the authentication process, when the watch funds should have been released to us, the account was then suspended for reasons we still can't understand. We haven't been advised as to why. We are still waiting for the funds from that particular sale 5 months on, and we've been advised from eBay that we will get the funds probably another month from now. Moral of the story is this: if you are a buyer using the authenticity guarantee on eBay, great, you basically have license to do whatever you want and buy in complete confidence that you're in charge. If you're a seller, be prepared to potentially be waiting up to 6 months for your funds to clear. How do they get away with all of this? I hear you ask. They get away with it by saying, well, it's in our terms and conditions, it's what you signed up to, sir. So that is our own real experience of eBay and eBay's authenticity guarantee. It is dodgy as hell. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that we're going in the right direction? Is the luxury watch industry going to be more transparent with these new schemes? Or does it just add a new level of complication and bullshit to the industry that we don't need? Thanks very much for joining me. Go check out beatthewaitlist-watches.com and I'll see you next time.